Let's talk about two topics that can turn any family dinner into a shouting match: guns and immigrants. Specifically, unregistered firearms and undocumented immigrants. Two issues often tangled together in political debates. The headlines and talking points are everywhere, but the facts are often buried under layers of fear and misinformation. Beneath the noise, there are real laws, real data, and real consequences, very different for each issue. Today, we'll break down what actually happens if you're caught with an unregistered gun versus being undocumented. We'll compare penalties, look at the numbers, and see what research says about crime and public safety. Are undocumented workers as dangerous as unregistered AR-15s? The law has clear answers. We'll also touch on ghost guns, a real and growing problem, and the economic contributions of immigrants, which often get ignored. It's a complex mess, but we're here to untangle it. By the end, you'll have the facts to cut through the noise, and maybe even win your next family debate. Let's get started. So, you have an unregistered gun. How much trouble are you in? That depends. Laws vary wildly by state and type of firearm. In some places, it's a misdemeanor, in others, a felony with serious consequences. Fines, jail time, and losing your right to own guns in the future are all on the table. Federal law gets involved if the weapon is a machine gun or short-barreled shotgun, then you're facing up to 10 years in prison. Your criminal history, the type of gun, and whether it was used in another crime all matter. One wrong move can turn a minor mistake into a life-changing felony. If you inherit a gun or find yourself in this situation, get a lawyer, immediately. Don't talk to police, don't post online, and don't try to fix it yourself. A good attorney can help you navigate this legal minefield. Bottom line, the consequences can be severe, and the smartest move is to get professional help. Let's zoom in on California, home to some of the strictest gun laws in the country. Possessing an unregistered firearm here is a wobbler. It can be charged as a misdemeanor or a felony. A misdemeanor could mean up to a year in jail and a $1,000 fine, plus a criminal record that follows you for years. A felony, up to 3 years in state prison, a $10,000 fine, and permanent loss of gun rights. Prior convictions or owning certain types of guns make felony charges automatic. Even a misdemeanor conviction can impact your job, housing, and future. Prosecutors have a lot of power to decide your fate based on the details. California's system is designed to hit higher-risk people and weapons with harsher penalties. The difference between a slap on the wrist and a life-altering sentence can come down to a few details. In short, the stakes are high, and the law is unforgiving. Federal law takes things up a notch, especially for weapons like machine guns and silencers regulated under the National Firearms Act. Skip the registration process, and you're looking at up to 10 years in federal prison and massive fines. Enter ghost guns, homemade, untraceable firearms built from kits or 3D printers. These guns have no serial numbers and are nearly impossible to track, making them attractive to people who can't legally buy guns. The government is cracking down, requiring serial numbers and background checks for these kits. Getting caught with an unserialized ghost gun can land you in serious federal trouble. Federal prosecutors have vast resources, and conviction rates are high. The process is daunting. Investigation, indictment, and strict sentencing guidelines. The rise of ghost guns is a modern challenge, and the government is responding aggressively. Federal law draws a hard line, especially for weapons considered exceptionally dangerous. Now let's talk about undocumented immigration. Crossing the border without authorization is usually a federal misdemeanor, up to 6 months in prison and a fine. If someone is deported and returns, that's a felony, with up to 2 years in prison, more if there are prior serious convictions. But for most undocumented immigrants, the main consequence isn't prison, it's deportation. Immigration enforcement is mostly civil, not criminal, aiming to remove people rather than imprison them. Deportation can mean family separation and being barred from returning for years, sometimes for life. Living undocumented means daily risks, workplace raids, sudden removal, and constant uncertainty. Employers who knowingly hire undocumented workers can face fines and charges. The system is designed to control who stays, not to fill prisons. The penalties are real, but they're mostly about removal, not incarceration. The law treats undocumented presence very differently from gun crimes. It's a civil process with high personal stakes, but not the same criminal weight. How big are these problems? Let's start with undocumented immigrants. About 10.5 million in the US, according to Pew Research. We have solid data for people, but for unregistered guns, no one really knows. There's no national gun registry, and most states don't require registration for many firearms. Estimates put total guns in private hands at around 400 million, with tens of millions likely unregistered. Ghost guns make counting even harder. They're untraceable by design. Law enforcement is recovering more ghost guns at crime scenes every year, but the true number is a mystery. We can debate immigration with real numbers, but with unregistered guns, we're flying blind. One issue is a known quantity. The other is a black hole. This makes policy decisions about guns much harder. We know how many people are here. We have no idea how many unregistered guns are out there. That's a crucial difference. The economic impact of undocumented immigrants is often misunderstood. Research shows they contribute billions in taxes, sales, property, and even income taxes through payroll deductions. Many pay into Social Security and Medicare, even though they can't claim benefits. They fill essential jobs in agriculture, construction, and hospitality, roles that keep the economy running. Economists say they complement, not compete with, native-born workers. In contrast, unregistered firearms don't pay taxes or create jobs. Instead, they cost the economy billions. Medical care, law enforcement, lost productivity from gun violence. One group adds value, the other drains resources. The numbers are clear. Undocumented immigrants are economic contributors. Illegal guns are an economic burden. A persistent myth is that undocumented immigrants drive crime. The data says otherwise. Immigrants, including undocumented, have lower crime rates than native-born citizens. Studies show states with more immigrants often have less violent crime. Most undocumented people avoid trouble. They're here to work, not break laws. The criminal alien narrative is political, not factual. Illegal firearms, on the other hand, are directly linked to violent crime. Most gun violence involves illegal guns, stolen, black market, or ghost guns. Research shows more illegal guns means more shootings and homicides. A gun's presence in a conflict raises the risk of death dramatically. People are not inherently dangerous. Illegal guns are by their very existence. The data is clear. The real threat is the gun, not the immigrant. So, what's the real threat to public safety? Undocumented immigrants or unregistered firearms? The evidence is overwhelming. Undocumented immigrants contribute to the economy and have lower crime rates. Their main crime is seeking a better life, not violence. Illegal firearms, however, are directly tied to America's gun violence crisis. The law reflects this. Gun crimes carry far harsher penalties than first-time border crossings. The fear of immigrants is mostly political theater. The danger of illegal guns is a deadly reality. Next time this debate comes up, stick to the facts. Don't let fear or anecdotes drive the conversation. Look at the data. The truth is more complicated, but it's also a lot more interesting.